Today on the FreedomCast, we'll be doing a tier list of all of Donald Trump's cabinet nominees for his second term. Talk about all that and more today on the FreedomCast. Alright, today we are going to be ranking all of Donald Trump's cabinet nominees. Now, we are not going to be ranking every single one of them because that would just be too impractical to go through all the insignificant advisors and deputy secretaries and ambassadors to all the countries and things like that. So we're just going to be doing the main ones, and we're going to start off with Vice President J.D. Vance. Technically, Vice President is a member of the cabinet, and when he first announced Vance, I was a little bit skeptical. I thought that there were definitely better choices out there, like RFK Jr. or Tulsi Gabbard, or any of those. But then again, he definitely could have did a lot worse. He could have picked a neocon for vice president, and he didn't. He ended up picking J.D. Vance, and I think he's definitely proven himself. He's definitely has been a great addition to the ticket. Kind of proved me wrong. Uh, he was able to help Trump win the swing states. And I think he's going to be a good vice president. Definitely a lot better than Mike Pence. So I think he's earned his spot in S tier. Next up is Marco Rubio for Secretary of State, and I don't like Marco Rubio at all. I think I'm going to put him in D tier, not quite S tier. I mean, not quite F tier, because he is a neocon. He's very pro-war. I don't think it was the best that Donald Trump could do. I think he could do definitely a lot better than Marco Rubio. Although the only reason I'm putting him in D tier, not F tier, is because he does oppose some intervention in Venezuela. So at least he'll be better than his first term. Next is Pam Bondi, and I was really pissed off when Matt Gaetz withdrew from the Attorney General nomination. I thought he would have been excellent. If he was nominated, I'd put him up in S tier. But Pam Bondi, I'm a little bit skeptical. Her record on the war on drugs is a little bit foggy, so I think I'm going to put her in B tier. A lot of these are B tier. Next is Pete Hegseth for Defense Secretary. He's fucking horrible. I mean, he started off his career as a pro-war activist, working for a pro-Iraq war think tank. He's advocated for war his whole life, supports a preemptive strike on North Korea. This was just a bad pick for a defense secretary. So, during the Senate confirmation hearing, he refused to commit to not working for defense contractors after he is done with being defense secretary. So I think he's definitely earned his spot in F tier. Next is the labor secretary, Lori Chavez. This was a surprising pick for Trump. This is a very former Republican congresswoman from Oregon, and she's very pro-union, pro-labor, voted for the PRO Act. And my thing about unions is you kind of have to have a moderate approach. You can't be completely pro-union, do whatever the unions want. You also can't be completely anti-union and want to bust all the unions. You have to take labor disputes in kind of a case-by-case basis would be the best policy. I think she'll be way more on the pro-labor side. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. For example, it's unpopular, but I think right-to-work laws are essential to make sure people aren't forced to pay union dues against their will. And I don't think she's going to be good on that. But I think I'll put her in B tier. It's okay. Next is Kristi Noem for Homeland Security. Again, B tier. I think she'll do okay. Definitely not the not the best, but she'll be good on the border, and hopefully not do too much spying or anything like that. Next is RFK, and of course Fucking love RFK. He goes up in S tier. He's gonna do great things to gut the regulation, gut the bureaucracy within the health agencies, take on the corruption, um, do a lot of great things. He was my second choice for president. Very glad that he was appointed. Next, we got Doug Burgum for Secretary of Interior. I like Doug Burgum. I think he'll do a good job as that. He was a good governor. I think he'll be a good Secretary of Interior. I don't really know anything negative about him. Next is Scott Bensett for Treasury Secretary, first openly gay cabinet member. Or I think there was an I don't know. I think he'll be good. He was a former. We have some gray area here. He's former Wall Street, worked for George Soros. But overall, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and just put him in B tier. I think he'll do a good job on being fiscally conservative. Actually got Doug Collins for VA. He's okay. Nothing really to say. Again, a lot of these are going in a B tier because that's kind of just the neutral spot. Uh, Next we have Brooke Rollins for Agriculture Secretary. Again, I think she'll be good for farmers. Do a lot of good things for the Agriculture Department. But again, a lot of these agencies should be abolished. So, how much good can you really do? Let's see. Next, we have Howard Lutnick for Commerce. Again, B tier. I think he'll do a good job. As he's very pro Bitcoin, so I think he'll do a good job as Commerce Secretary. Next, Sean Duffy for Transportation. Really no objection there. Put him in B tier. I don't have really anything to say about him. Chris Wright for Energy Secretary. He'll do a good job helping us maintain energy independence. That's something Donald Trump did during his first term that he is going to do during his second term. Next, Linda McMahon for Education Secretary. Now, Education Department should be abolished, but if you're going to pick somebody to run it, I think she's doing great. I'm putting her in A tier. Yes, A tier right there. I think she'll do a good job supporting school choice and things like that. Great outsider, great nominee to run education. Next is Scott Turner for the housing department. Again, B tier. I think he'll do an okay job. Next, of course, we got back-to-back S tiers. We got Elon and Vivek for the Department of Government Efficiency. Fucking love them. They'll do a great job in cutting the federal bureaucracy. Definitely one of the main reasons why I voted for Trump to have them in there. Next, we have Susie Willis, Chief of Staff, campaign manager for Trump, of course, ran one of the probably his best campaign if you were to rank his 2016 campaign, 2020 campaign, 2024 campaign. She definitely ran it very well, and if she can run the campaign well, I think she's going to be able to run the White House very well. So I'll put her in A tier. Next, of course, is Tulsi Gabbard. Fuck yeah, that goes up in S tier. She's going to do a great job as a National Intelligence Director. She's going to stop the illegal NSA spying, hopefully, and kind of be an anti-establishment voice to kind of counteract some of the neocons in this administration. Next, we got Lee Zeldin, EPA. I think he's going to do a great job cutting a lot of the harmful regulations that the EPA puts out there. Great pick, so I'm going to put him in A tier. Next, we got Dr. Oz for Director of Medicare and Medicaid. Fucking love Dr. Oz. Of course, he ran for Senate in 2022, and I liked him back then, and I still do, so I think I'm going to put him in A tier. He'll do a good job managing those programs. Next, we have Elise Stefanik, UN ambassador, and she's a massive neocon. I'm going to put this bitch in F tier because I don't think he's going to do a good job at all. Very pro-war, if you look at her voting record in Congress. Very pro-war voting record. Next is Martin A. Macri for FDA. Put him in C tier. He was he was on the board of a pharmaceutical company, so it's a little bit of conflict of interest there. But I guess we're just gonna have to watch what he does and see if he does a good job. Because with RFK as head of the health secretary, he might be urged to do good things. Nudged in the right direction by RFK Jr. Next, we got David Welder. Can't read my handwriting for the CDC. I think he'll do an okay job. He was definitely a good you know, he opposed a lot of the shit going on during COVID. So I think he's earned his spot in B tier. Hopefully he does a good job. Uh, Next, we've got uh, Jeanette Nezawat for Surgeon General, and again, he's pretty good during COVID, so put her in B tier. We got John Sawyer for Solicitor General, and I think he's going to do a good job. He was one of Trump's lawyers, so he helped him get out of legal trouble, so I'll put him in B tier. Next, we have uh, Russell T. Vaught for Office of Budget Management. Again, I think he'll do good promoting fiscal conservatism, so I'll put him in A tier. Next, we got Mike Huckabee, ambassador to Israel. I know I said I wasn't going to do a lot of the ambassadors, but I had to put him on here just so I can put him in F tier because he is one of the biggest warmongers probably in the old administration, and he thinks Israel can do no wrong, so I think that's a bad guy to have in the administration. Next, we got Kash Patel, FBI director, absolute S tier. I think he'll do a great job reforming the FBI and stopping the political weaponization of government against Trump. Next, we got Tom Homan, Borders are A tier. I think he'll do a good job securing the border. Next, and then we got Caroline Levitt, press secretary. Press secretary. I think she's going to do a good job taking on the corrupt media establishment. And there we go. That's my ranking of Donald Trump's cabinet officials. Make sure to comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you disagree with where I'd put people, or if you agree, or whatever. And make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on the FreedomCast.